You're heading into your 20th year as a head softball coach. You spent 17 D1 seasons. He's been to 4 NCAA regionals, 556 career victories. Pretty impressive past, a guy who's known for doing a good job. I've known you for quite some time through Louisiana Tech. Dude, you're one of the nicest coaches I ever get to deal with. I love to talk to you. You're a great Easton guy. You help us with whatever we need. You're constantly working. You're grinding. So we appreciate you getting on with us today.
No, happy to.
So, all right. So you took La Tech in the last 5 years to 5 straight 30-plus win seasons, 2 NCAA regional berths. We go from Conference USA, and now you're a Power 5 conference, Big Ten. You're in College Park, Maryland. How pumped are you to be at this school?
Oh, beyond belief. I tell people wherever you go, it's always about the journey, right? Appreciate where you've been. And everywhere I've been very fortunate that where I was at the time was where I was supposed to have been. I think I always wanted the Power 5 job. I always wanted to be there, but I'm not sure I was ready if you would have taken me back. And so I think every stop along the way, you learn some tidbits and things to do and what not to do, honestly, just as much about, what to do. And slowly but surely you put together something. But I think one thing I can say, I've always felt like everywhere I was a family. And so it was very easy to coach kind of a family approach, and the University of Maryland's no difference. The support staff has grown. The money to be able to do certain things has certainly grown, and the number of people that are involved in your program has certainly grown at each stop along the way. But the one thing that I've been super impressed with thus far at Maryland is just how every program they want to be successful. So they're doing everything that they can to help make us successful. And that's really, as a coach, always what you're looking for.
Yeah, and so, that's why they brought you there. They want a winning program. And so, looking through the schedule this year, you guys started off 1-7. And you had, thinking like, oh, God, what's going on? And you turned the page. And by the time the season was ended, you guys are sitting over 500 at 12-11. So the ship was righted. You're heading in the right direction. What do you say the day the season's over to the girls on the team, like, hey, we're done for the year? How do you stay ready during this time as a coach and as the players?
Well, time's going to tell that one on everybody. I think the thing to do is not feel like you as a head coach have to give a list of demands or things that's done. You've got to inspire your team to want to do it themselves. You've got to get them to understand that we need to come back bigger, faster, and stronger so that we're better next year, not starting over, right? We want to take all the growth that we did. We want to take those, like you said, from 1-7 to 12-11. So we want to take those 11-4 kind of record time frame, and we want to start out next season with that. So what do we do? And get them excited about what they need to do over the summer, whether that's the weightlifting conditioning program or whether that's polishing new skills, pitchers maybe developing a new pitch, or at least getting stronger and faster. So, everybody has certain things that they're working on, and we're going to give those out. We're going to guide them and tell them what they can do. But at the end of the day, we want everybody's to be individualized because it's about their performance to come back to help this team, understanding that they're going to have competition. They're going to have younger players that maybe get to play in the summer, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, when we hit the ground, there's going to be 9 new players on this team, combined with, I think, 14 coming back. So, we're looking at a large group of people that is now the new Maryland softball team. What's that going to look like, and how are you going to contribute? And if you're going to contribute at a high level, we need you to be prepping high-level activities now so that you're ready to go.
That's right. Being part of a team, everybody's got a role. So I got to imagine it's important for you to try and let everybody know, hey, this is your role. Let's work on this. Let's get better at what you're doing. And I think the mental side probably. Are you guys working on mental stuff now as well?
Sure. We actually have had one of our Zoom meetings. We had a mental strength coach. He'll be joining us again probably next week. Every couple of weeks we try to have him in, even if it's for just 30 minutes. And even if it's a tidbit, one of the last things he gave us, which I thought was awesome, a lot of people keep journals or to-do lists, and he talked about writing his to-do list each day on an index card. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
Don't write it in a journal where you can skip it and say, oh, I didn't get to it, I'll do it tomorrow. By writing that list today, really, on an index card, it really makes you more inclined to say, okay, this is what I need to do today. I'm going to get it done. And so, you're more focused on a day-to-day approach rather than a season approach. And in today's climate, let's be real honest. I mean, I'm sure you're the same way I am. I forget whether it's a Tuesday or a Friday someday because every day's the same.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the climate we're in. So I think those daily lists of what needs done today is important. And then it allows you to start stretching yourself. Okay, I want to work out for 30 minutes. Great. I want to hit for 30 minutes. Boom. And you can incorporate academics if you're a student, or, maybe for me, it's doing some odd jobs around the house now, getting it ready, installing a ceiling fan or something. But, I think anything that we're doing, I think we can put that on a list and get some stuff done.
I agree with you. I think that routine, having that routine is so important. And I for kids out there watching this thing right now, like, what is a typical routine in the day of a life of a Maryland softball player in fall or during the season? It's hard. It's not easy to be a student athlete and balance everything. So you got to learn how to do that.
No, for sure. For sure. And that's probably, let's be real honest, the number one issue I think for all incoming players isn't necessarily their talent level. It's how to merge time management on a whole new scale that they've never had to do before.
Yeah.
And your day is so plotted out in high school of, first hour, boom, second hour, boom, third hour, boom, practice, boom, go to bed, study, whatever. I mean, it's all plotted out and you don't have to. Now, all of a sudden, you find vacancies in your day. How do you fill those? Because if it's going back home and watching SpongeBob, you're not really getting much, out of your day. So you've got to figure out, well, is it okay to take a nap? Absolutely. Is it okay to take a nap every day? Probably not. So how does that work? And how do you then maximize your daily effort to get your maximum output?
Yeah. It's a learning process, the whole thing. All right. So what if a Mark Montgomery player, what is it that you're looking for when you're out there looking for a player? Is it what are you looking for?
Well, I think the first thing and I think this is with everybody, the first look is always athleticism, right? It's bigger, faster, stronger. I don't think that changes. But I do believe that when you're watching and looking for bigger, faster, stronger, other things will start to appeal to you. A high communication kid, one who's just always chirping and talking and going, and then high skill set, somebody who maybe isn't as big, but man, their glove work is just so smooth and their hands are so soft and they're able to make plays that just even some bigger athletes can't make. And then you're looking for, honestly, we do 3 watches. So this is kind of a thing that we do at Maryland and that I've carried with me is the first watch is for that bigger, faster, stronger. Who's the athlete we want to get? The second watch is what we call the second set of eyes. So it's either at another tournament, it can be the same coach, but it's at another tournament, or it's another coach watching that kid, maybe at the same tournament or maybe at the next tournament. So that 2 people, or at least on 2 different occasions, you're verifying that you like what you see skill-wise.
Sure.
The third watch then becomes what we call the dugout watch. And the dugout watch is, how do you act? What do you do in terms of interaction with your teammates? Did you get there early? Were you pulling in late? Are you one of the ones warming up and stretching? Or are you just kind of last minute to get ready? And then how does your parents interact? If your mom walks over with a red Gatorade and you go, I said blue, then, those aren't things you're looking for. And those will get kids scratched off the list. You strike out in the game, that's not a big deal to us. Everybody strikes out. But, how do you come back in the dugout? If the next kid hits a home run, are you the first one out there, or are you still sulking over your strikeout? So I'd say a Coach Montgomery kid's going to have those qualities. And then we're going to try to go a step further. One of the things that we like are kids that want to be knowledgeable about the game. I would hope that my former players or current players, past players will all tell you that they learn more about the game with me than they probably even thought existed within the game, because we want them moving and shifting and doing all kinds of things, very adaptive on a pitch by pitch basis. But you have to be taught to think that way. It can't be reactive. And so I think the knowledge base, we want kids who want to learn. We don't want a kid where we just walk out and say, do this. We don't want that kid. We want a kid that honestly says, why are we doing this? And then once they understand why, they're never going to make those mistakes of not being in the right spot, because they're going to understand that the spot or the situation in the game teaches them what to do.
Excellent insight into what you guys look for out there. And I think, attitude is so crucial, and it's a thing that kids can really be doing that's fairly simple while they're staying at home right now. Is how do you find ways to improve that attitude and hustle and working hard? Because, hey, let's face it, you're one Big Ten program. There's a lot of others out there those girls are working hard right now. You got to outwork them, outcompete, So, what are some drills? Give the girls out there some drills that your players tend to use during this time. Hitters, pitchers, defense.
I think one of the things that we constantly work on is perfect tee defensively. And that's where you really just get 4 feet away from the net, and you're trying to refine your skill set of hand path to contact and having some lower body explosiveness within that. And you're still hitting the ball square every time to where it just goes straight to the back of the net. And then once you get that, right, then we should be able to back up and ultimately do that from 10 feet or 20 feet. I saw a guy that was on, it was a baseball guy, and you may have seen it too, but he was hitting into a net, and he started out at 10 yards and then went back to 20 and then 30. And then eventually he was like a 50-yard hit with a baseball and hit it on the screws, just a line drive right back up to the same pop-up net from 50 yards away. I mean, that's what we want the kids to be able to get to, is if you can swing to hit it to the back of the net the same way that you're trying to hit, then you understand that you're controlling the hands and the hand path. And then we can start working inside pitch and outside pitch and high pitch and low pitch. But every time you're controlling your lower body engagement along with a good hand path that gets you to good contact, because getting to good contact is where it's all about. I see a lot of kids that they work on, and I mean nothing against any of these techniques, because I honestly don't know enough about them, but there's blast and hit tracks and there's TrackMan and there's a gazillion of those things on the market. But yet, if you can't get to good contact, then all they're teaching you how to do is be more efficient at swinging bad. And I want to make sure that our kids understand the importance. We actually, one of the things we do a lot in the beginning, the first couple of weeks, is we take tennis balls, we give the kids a tennis racket, and we literally toss the balls everywhere. I mean, we throw them at their head, so that they have to take that tennis racket and adjust it to get to where that is, so that they understand the control. Now let's take that swing, which is handsy. I get it. A lot of people will doubt me on that. But then let's put some lower body engagement to it so that they can square up a ball no matter where it's pitched. So we do those, and that's something that they can do.
Those are two great things to do at home. So let me get that one more time. So it's basically hitting the tennis ball anywhere you throw it, just to work on hand-eye coordination. And then I like the idea of hitting it through a line, getting further back gradually with the net. Now, my neighborhood may not have any windows left in any houses.
Yeah. I saw another video of a guy that was hitting, I think he's a Major League Baseball player, and he was hitting in a high-rise apartment, and there's glass windows everywhere. And
I saw the video.
I'm sitting there going, man, you were braver than I, because I am not that good. So, but I think that, certainly a bucket of balls and in a park or a football field or something nearby, everybody's got that. Everybody's got it. I mean, it may take you a 10-minute walk to get somewhere, but everybody's got it where you can do that. And I think that that's something that everybody can do. And then defensively, and Brian, you're probably of the age too, where you used to go in the backyard and just throw a tennis ball against the
Off
wall.
the garage, yeah.
Working right, and we're working now. I can work some backhands and some forehands, and I can really work a lot of defensive work by controlling where I throw that ball, getting a good tennis ball bounce, and using my glove, but to really work on glove angles of picking balls and fielding through balls and doing that. And all I need is an outdoor concrete or brick wall and a tennis ball and a level space in front of me, whether that's a wood deck or whether that's a concrete patio, because I think that's something I used to do as a kid, and I didn't even know that I was making myself a better player, and yet I was doing it by myself. So we talk to our kids defensively about being able to do things like that.
Yeah. Hey, dude, all it is it's muscle memory and repetition.
Yep.
And it goes a long way. That's awesome. So those are 3 really good things for all those players to be doing at home during, however long it takes to get back on the field. So let's talk about real quick. I wanted to talk about the complex there. So the complex that you guys have, I know, and I think I've heard about this new player development center that you guys are, I don't know if you've broken ground or you're going to, you're supposed to be building like a cool hitting facility, right?
Right. It's actually already been approved. The finances of it are already set. I would tell you all the initials that they have told me of the different stages. It's ready to go. Now, how financially responsible it is of our administration to be building a player development center when the University of Maryland's probably lost $30 million and athletics is losing, I don't know that.
Right.
So we not be breaking ground on the date that was originally planned. We were originally planned to break ground in June, and then ultimately to try to have this completed as of January. I'm still hopeful, but
Sure.
if it does, we all understand that some of that's just a sign of the times.
Yeah.
But it's a $2.5 million player development center. It's going to be natural lit as well as having indoor lighting, floor to ceiling cages, so we can do live at bats as opposed to just normal cages. It's going to have 3 kind of live dirt bullpens to where they can throw as well. So it's going to be one that allows us. And we'll have both heat and air conditioning. So
that's cool.
I think
you need it up there.
We do, because you have the the August, September days where it can break 95, and then you have the winters which very fortunately this year weren't too bad, but we all know that any winter can get a little brutal. So to have both the heat and the air and that nice of a system, we'll have a couple of really long cages, a couple of shorter ones so they can do tee work. But it's going to be a really nice facility for our young ladies, because they'll be able to walk in with their their key cards and just slide in, and they have their access to it. So now when they want to go hit on a Sunday afternoon at 4:00, and we that was our off day, they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, when you're recruiting in a Power 5 conference, the better the facility, the easier it is to get players.
Well, we've seen some of these Taj Mahals that these places have built. Yeah,
That's
sure.
right. Well, that's cool, man. Sounds like school's invested, you're invested. They've got the right guy for the job there. Listen, we appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come and join us on here. I think the players out there got great tips for staying ready at home during this thing. So any last statement that you got for all the players out there? Anyone watching?
Well, I tell you, I think it's a matter of just control the controllables, right? We talk about that every day as coaches when we're in season, and I think now out of season, it's the same thing. We don't control when we go back. I mean, you don't control it in California. I don't control it in Maryland. They don't control it wherever they're at either. But you can control what you do to be the best that you can be going forward. So if all you have access to is a tennis ball in a backyard, then go do what you have access to. And if you do that, and I think everybody they stay in control of what they can, and we really concentrate, I think we'll be back in, as far as the country goes, in good shape here, and we'll get on the field when it's safe for us to be on the field.
That's right. Mark Montgomery, hey, we appreciate it. We love having you on Team Easton with us. You're a great dude. Stay safe, stay strong, stay ready. Thanks for coming on with us, man.
But thank you very much for having me, and go Team Easton.
All right. We'll see you, man.
All right. Bye-bye.